Oh, we're here, finally. Sorry about that. Had a client go over a little bit on time, and now we're here, which is awesome. Really connecting to my pendant today for some reason. This is a really special pendant to me. It's given to me by Candace Carl Goldman. I wear it all the time. That last time I wore it in my inner earth channeling, and I was connecting to Mary Magdalene, and there was a big red warm spot on my skin right up underneath it. So today when I wore it, I'm like, oh, you ain't gonna do that to me again. I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear a turtleneck. So let me pull up the chat. Yeah. Everyone's saying their hellos. Well, hi to you too. Don't see any questions yet that anyone's put in advance on the YouTube, so I'm going to go into Patreon because I know in the video that I posted last week of the link, there were some people that were placing their questions in the comments section. So I'm just scrolling down to find it real fast because some people couldn't be here today. So we'll start there. These questions are assuming, some of these questions are assuming from a dualistic standpoint that someone else did something to us. And being that I don't abide by that theory, not from what I'm noticing in what all the galactic races have shown me and taught me. To answer your question about who put the pineal gland in as an organ implant, I would have to believe that somebody other than me did something to me. And I am a non-dualistic shaman. I believe that everything that I am seeing and everyone that I am seeing reflecting back to me is also me. So in that particular belief system of non-dualism, it's a little bit Taoist and it's a little bit everything. And I can't tell you, I can't answer that question because I don't believe in the question. I don't believe that anyone put anything in as an inorganic or organic implant because I believe instead in upgrades to our system. And from what I've noticed about the pineal gland, it is a unique involvement that we put in ourselves, if you will, since the times of Atlantis forward. We've had the pineal gland. So this is inner earth collective stuff. This is Atlantis and Lemuria and connections with Arcturians and Telosians and many beings that are aspects of us. So if you are activating your pineal gland right now and you are experiencing what you would perceive as a blocked or a stuck pineal gland, the pineal chakra goes way back. The chakra systems as taught in original alchemy, you know, from the Rosicrucian era forward. When I say original alchemy, for me, it's Lemuria, Lemurians and Telosians taught Rosicrucians, who then taught the rest of the world. And then it went into some unfortunate levels of negative occultism. But prior to then, in its purity on Earth, alchemy began with Lemurians and then with the Rosicrucian order. And those are the most true brands of alchemy possible. And in the original alchemy systems, it wasn't root chakra, sacral chakra. They didn't call it those things. You know, they would just like make a general area of the body and call it that instead. So they called it the pineal chakra as opposed to pineal gland. And it was not just that. It was pineal chakra along with cerebrum, you know, cerebellum chakra. So the pineal and the cerebellum are two areas of the brain that encompass one chakra system in original alchemy, both from the Lemurians and from the Rosicrucians. So it wasn't a matter of someone putting it in, it was a matter of something that needed to be activated. amongst the beginnings of the human race. And that was activated by Atlanteans. So that part of you that is an Atlantean did that for you. I'm sure some of you that are also shamans and alchemists are noticing my languages, because it's really important. The language of how you are speaking about yourself and for yourself is really, really helpful. Really, really helpful. It can also be incredibly detrimental if you want to believe that you are separate or that someone created an entire negative race. That's third dimensional belief that'll keep you right there. Not that it doesn't exist. It's very powerful in the illusory experiences of third dimensional reality. That's a powerful belief. So in alchemy, we try to sway away from those beliefs and try to understand what really happened is that we did everything for ourselves. And I'm not making an assumption that you're being a victim, but what I am doing is trying to be very cautious in the way that I teach you, because when we're teaching about alchemy, we're going to go way back into galactic history. And we don't want to go towards the level of galactic history that some other teachers are putting out there. One in which who talks about the moon a lot. I'm sure you know who that is. He was an original alchemist on this planet who went towards the direction of the Anunnaki belief systems. So those beliefs are still coming out in that being, older man who talks about the moon a lot. And if you want to really go forth into those belief systems, you're going to be learning alchemy in third dimensional aspects, not fourth, fifth, sixth, and beyond. So be careful, not in a fear-based way, but more of just observant and cautious and just aware of what you're learning and from whom. Because we want to keep your frequency here, guys, not here in the body. The body is your tool. The body is your vehicle through which you grow, but it is not you. And nobody can give you an implant, inorganic or organic. Those words don't matter. They're just human languages. Everything is real. And if something is within you that you consider an implant, it is an upgrade that is for your soul's contract of growth. Second question about spiritual alchemy and shamanism. Can you describe the best ways to contact our soul essence? Yes, that's not always relevant to spiritual alchemy or shamanism. You are always in contact with your soul essence, and that is the best way to be in flow. So you don't contact your soul essence, you become in alignment with and in the same life stream and understanding your soul stream. In alchemy, that's what we call the life stream. In shamanism, they just call it, yourself, capital S. Sometimes they will call it your Akashic records. In alchemy, we call it your concordant records, because alchemy focuses primarily on the now. So the concordant records, as demonstrated and taught in my class, Journey Through the Akasha, Part 2, it is all about operating within that library of records within you that stems from the now and then creating the future, which doesn't exist yet. So that's when you become your ultimate creator. So alchemy is about the now and creation forward. Shamanism is about the Akashic records and looking at parts of you that you feel you need to retrieve and go towards in order to really reconnect and remember something about your past. So shamanism can sometimes have a completely different focus. There are different types of shamanism. So if you're going towards the standard Peruvian, Incan Mayan forms of shamanism that do that, that's where all of the current indigenous shamanism stem from there, and then even backwards more from the Hopi. They believe very, very profoundly in the Akashic records. So most shamans also have the ability to tap through the Akasha. In elemental shamanism, which is something in between that type of shamanism, which is more like the four winds shamanism, it's called the medicine wheel. So in medicine wheel shamanism, which is primarily you have to retrieve an aspect of yourself that you feel is lost, broken, damaged, sick, etc. That is here. Okay, that's this type of shamanism. Then we have elemental shamanism, and then we have alchemy. And I'm talking in terms of frequency. And noticing I'm not doing this, this, and this, because I don't believe that this is a hierarchy. These are just different planes of existence. And if you resonate with shadow work, If you resonate with soul retrieval, if you resonate with completion and the belief that you are not complete perfectly as you are, and you are not whole perfectly as you are, then you should go towards, in my opinion, at least, in my perspective, you would be aligned with medicine wheel shamanism, to retrieve parts of yourself. This is for people with extreme post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, dark night of the soul, et cetera, et cetera. I probably should be looking at my YouTube just in case my sound is going out, because I know that we had some issues with sound last time and we lost like 10 minutes of a class because of it. So when it comes to Peruvian, ancient Incan, Mayan shamanism, ancient Hopi traditions and prophecies, from all of that, that is medicine wheel shamanism. And it is kind of a third dimensional thing up to lower fourth. You know, sometimes they're operating in those realms of ether as well. But standardly speaking, these are the areas of you that scare you the most. And if you feel very disempowered and like all encompassed by fear, that is the direction that you will most likely want to go towards. If, for instance, you want to get out of that and you want a middle ground, elemental shamanism, that's currently where I stand, by the way, as a shaman. I'm initiated as an elemental shaman. What that means is I am going to keep my frequency very high, but I'm going to work with people that believe that their frequency is low, that believe that they are broken, lost, damaged, and that they need a retrieval, rebirth, or a completion. So there are many processes on this earth that talk about those words. You know, some of the most popular ones: soul retrieval, completion process, what else? Regression. All of that stems, well, certain types of regression stem into elemental shamanism, particularly quantum alchemy is right there in elemental shamanism. But there are certain types of processes and regressions that bring you backwards into your past and believe that you should focus primarily on your traumas. If you are aligned with that because of your dark night of the soul and you're really stuck in the throes of it and you believe that you really are broken and damaged beyond the point of help, generally that's where you want to go when you're in full on dark night of the soul and you want to. Can you explain what soul retrieval means? Soul retrieval is for people that they believe, these levels of people believe that there is an aspect, and this is a huge part. This is like 49% of the human conscious collective right now believes that they are lost, stuck in another timeline, bringing forth karma from other lifetimes, things of that nature. If you believe in that, then you believe that you need to retrieve a lost, damaged, broken part of you that is stuck, that your soul would be fragmented and stuck in another part of time, either in your childhood or another lifetime. So that's what soul retrieval means for people who believe that. Insofar as elemental shamanism, which is over here in the middle, is kind of like the Taoist for shamans. What we believe is that as shamans, that we need to follow the energy of the person standing before us, because they are us and we are them. So they are going to be reflecting things that really are going to trigger and catalyze us, and we are going to be doing the same for them, and it becomes a team effort. So what you don't see, those of you who have gone through various types of work in elemental shamanism with me, is that we rarely go backwards. It's very rare. Most of the time, we're tapping into the concordant records, which is similar to the Akashic records. It is a hall of records within your brain system and your heart, because your heart also has a brain. You also tap into the solar plexus, which is the brain there, which is very powerful in alchemy. So you're tapping into the three brains: the solar plexus, the heart brain, and the brain brain. So this is, I call the monkey brain, like the primitive brain. So this is a part of you that may try to take you backwards. And if we go there, we go, oh, higher self, is that really relevant? And higher self is going to say yes or no. If it says yes, we're going to go into your Akasha. If it says no, we're going to go through a portal that leads through your heart brain, which is the now. What is really going on right now? If it says this lifetime, we may go to the solar plexus brain, which is the center of either empowerment or disempowerment, according to alchemy. So all of these beliefs actually come from ancient alchemy systems. And alchemy is just the belief that everything is already perfectly whole, and you are integrating levels of yourself while also believing in oneness and refusing to believe separation. Alchemy is an integration of all aspects of you so that you understand you are perfect and whole. So it's combinations. Alchemy is combinations and transmutations. You are taking something, and not necessarily that you're believing it's bad, but you're taking it and you're finding all the components within it, whether it be emotions, physicality, alchemy in terms of ancient scientific alchemy in labs, turning lead into gold, et cetera, et cetera. It's not so much that these days. But what you're doing is you're activating that in you. You're activating the metaphorical gold within you. I call this Ek, and the beings that taught me this are called Ekankar, and they are very ancient. So they're some of the most angelic forms, angelic races possible, and they are very pure. And what they taught me about this is that within our systems, we were created to have Ek, which is similar to blood, but the closest thing that is within the human body system in alchemy that's close to Ek is plasma. So you're actually activating your plasma when you study alchemy and when you go through alchemical processes emotionally and spiritually. So that's a little bit of a difference, is that alchemy gets incredibly specific and activates your ancient DNA, activates the stuff in your blood, your actual blood plasma. And so alchemy creates giant physical shifts. For those of you who follow my work, you also get activated into that, and you end up feeling like you need to fast and that you need to, transcend the third dimensional body stuff. So that's a lot of fun, huh? Let me see if I can answer some of your questions. You pick that up with the who? Yeah, who. And some people call it who. Either way, it's, just different dialects for the same thing. Hu and who are, it's just Hu or Hui in ancient alchemy. It is like the Satnam. It is like the name of the ultimate source within you. So when you go towards sound alchemy, which is a specific form of alchemy that I do quite often, I call this the Shabad. It's the closest thing that I know in this lifetime. The Shabad Guru is the ancient art of connecting to Satnam within you. So Sound Guru, basically speaking, is when you find your own tones that you really connect to, or your own Shabad, if you will, your own divine sound current that you personally align with in its vibration. And you speak it in your mind and or out loud, depending upon your particular practice, over and over and over again, so that you can connect to the sound guru within you, your own power of source within you. So I think maybe you mean hum-da, not da-ah. I could be wrong, but that's how it's coming out for me when I channel my higher self about it. Corey, code, yeah. Yeah, I think you don't mean da. I think it might be hum-da. It might sound a little bit like this, which is similar to some of the shabads that go towards sa, re, sa, so, hum. So when you get to the hum, it's similar to who, except you're adding the M, which is like combining who or hue and So you're getting like God love in a little bit more of a masculine form when you add the da. Okay, so those are interesting versions of sound alchemy that probably has a lot to do. See, when I try to, thanks, Jill. When I try to repeat some of the questions that you guys are saying in relation to source tones, and I knew it was going to go here today, I try to repeat it and I start light languaging. So yes, that is a light language. You're saying it some kot, and it's hum some kota, hum some kota, hum some kota. So it's a little bit, I'm hearing it a little bit differently, which is more of like the sum of all that is within source. So that's like, and kota is like calling it hither. It's like, come here is what that means. So that is your original Shabad. So some of you don't really relate to the Shabad. that is from ancient India. Some of you will create your own version of source tones, your own Shabad coming from source within you. And that becomes your light language. So that's my version of alchemy. And then there's the in-between, the elemental shamanism, which is focusing on exactly what is in the middle of all, like the middle way for everything. This is, for those of you who connect to Lao Tzu, Taoism is right up your alley for elemental shamanism if you want to understand it more. Okay, we got about 7 more minutes. Amy says, I am getting strong images of combining elements. In elemental shamanism, yes, elements are one, but they're used together in elemental alchemy and in elemental shamanism to transmute from an undesirable frequency. We don't want to say it's bad. We just don't particularly desire it at this moment. You see how we botch our language in elemental shamanism? So basically for that, say you have been using the fire element and it has been very cleansing, but just a little bit harsh and, burny, if you will. You can combine smoke instead and just get more of a calmer ether base, because smoke is partially ether. And when you combine it with the element of fire, it becomes less rip-roaring, firing, burn your ass, and more smoky, calm embers sitting in front of the fireplace with a blanket. That's why people burn sage. But there's certain types of sage that I won't burn, because in elemental shamanism, it's too fiery for me. And it's just so catalyzing that I'm like, I don't want to burn off my pain that way, because it feels like burning off my foot if it happens to get broken, as opposed to just, making myself a nice little cast and sitting in front of the fire for a while. So, you're Advaita Vedanta? Good. Yeah, that is compared to the illusion, so in that level of what you guys call the illusion, you don't want to go there. I'm very cautious about the way that I teach as well, but in elemental that still believe that they're separate. So if we teach them Advaita Vedanta style, there's a disconnect there, because you're operating in this frequency and they're operating in that frequency. So basically speaking, even though it's an illusion and you have become enlightened in that, Mark, unfortunately, there are many people who don't have that knowledge yet. So in elemental alchemy and in elemental shamanism, you form a bridge of consciousness between the third dimension, who believes in separation, and because they believe you're over here in the fifth, and they believe that you're so separate from them and enlightened and on your, little pedestal there, because that's what third dimension often think about enlightened beings. Basically, you're going to have to bridge that. You're going to have to shine your light into that in a way that makes them feel very comfortable. And it doesn't mean adjusting your beliefs, but it does help them formulate a bridge of consciousness so that they can actually feel your light, as opposed to feeling that they are not worthy of it or that they are separate from it. The middle way kind of pulls that in for them. That's what I love so much about Lao Tzu, is because he is that bridge of consciousness between, not that he's not highly enlightened, because he obviously is, but he holds himself in a way that he does not believe that enlightenment is something up here. He believes it is in here, and that we all have it. And there's nothing to obtain or reach. It's just going in there and feeling it and knowing it and observing it and becoming it, because you already are. It's in elemental shamanism is not something to go towards. So my advice to you would be to understand that you have grasped the concept that most of Earth hasn't. So you're going to need to shine that light with love, with acceptance, become a bridge of consciousness for people that do believe differently than you, because beliefs are still highly prevalent on this planet. And then if you say to them, it can only be Advaita Vedanta, then that too becomes a belief. You see what I mean? And what we're trying to do here in alchemy, for true alchemists, we are trying to obliterate beliefs. Yeah, we're trying to transmute all of that, not above, not below, but to understand that everything that we believe that is above and below is all here in our hearts. You see what I mean? So that's a bit of my advice for you, lovely Advaita folk. Carol, she said, whatever I touch, I seem to shock. Your frequency is uncontrolled. So when I do that, when I stand and I notice I'm shocking everything and shocking everyone, what I do is just try to really pull my energy in and stand in the middle of everything, go back in, ground a little bit. That happens a lot when I'm fasting, that I'm just walking through the grocery store and if I have to touch someone, they're like, holy cow, that hurt. So keep in mind that there are different frequencies that people are observing and experiencing in this illusion on this planet. So try to ground it out a bit. Okay, got a few more minutes left looking at your questions. Oh, yeah. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Thegshop. I don't know what that stands for, but for your comment about geometry within language, in ancient alchemy, particularly in Rosicrucian alchemy, when you are combining sound and visualizing geometry and letting that language come through source tones, sound alchemy compared with that sacred geometry does a lot of healing. So that is spectacular for alchemy. Looking through your questions, give me a second. Yeah, Michaela, she said, I see beautiful true reality similar to traveling, like traveling living stained glass. Yeah, it is like that. And in your filter, and if you do still have a body, you still have a filter. If you are still living within that body, whether you or not you believe it is you and is true or not, it's there in this third dimension. Otherwise, you would not be interacting with people who are in third dimension. You would not even notice them. You'd be completely somewhere else. So with that having been stated, you're going to notice that your perception and filter is sometimes really bright and blue and beautiful, sometimes clear, sometimes deep red. And within frequency, you are managing yourself, managing your frequency at all times. You'll notice people that are highly enlightened, the Dalai Lama, for instance, when you watch him, it's not that he doesn't get angry, is that he feels it bubbling up from the solar plexus and coming up here, and he goes, oh, hello, familiar friend. I remember when I transmuted and integrated and enlightened beyond that. Hello, and I love you. Thank you. And then you'll see him tone down, and then all of a sudden you'll see him start laughing. He's like a giggling guru. Many gurus are incredibly happy and blissful. And when they start laughing, they have transmuted something really immensely and quickly and powerfully. How do you feel about energy work called a crank up, when energy is used to opening abilities, working on the heart, hypothalamus, pineal, pituitary, higher crown, middle crown, lower crown? That's alchemy. If you're ready for it, cranking up when you're really meant to stay in the frequency that you're meant in order to integrate what is being shown to you within about yourself, that can be a little bit detrimental. I've noticed that people who are in this place where they're really attaching to their shadow as divine reality, they need to stay in it for a while. That's what they want. That's what their soul wants. So I'm not here to undermine shadow work or medicine wheel shamanism. It is still obviously needed in 49% of the human conscious collective, and that is very relevant. What I am here to do is ask you to honor where you stand in your alchemy, where you stand in your reality and what you are experiencing. Okay? What are my thoughts about Hollow Earth? There's channeling for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 that I just did last week. where Adama came in from Talos through the Inner Earth Collective and pretty much laid out everything that I feel as well. It's right there for you. Difficulty in breathing? Well, I'd have to know a lot more than just that. But the broad sweeping theory that I will give you about breath is that it is life. And if you are feeling a collapse in breath, like not enough, you're not connecting to life enough. You're not committing to life enough. If you are feeling hyperventilation or like an overabundance of it, that's something where you might need to slow down. You might need to slow down and pull from the life force and ground it out and feel a depth in your root chakra more. Just listening at your questions for just, we have one more minute, so I'm listening to you for a second and reading. I get Trash Magic TV. That is a freaking awesome name. I know you. I get overwhelmed sometimes by anger or impatience. It's normal. What I would advise to you is to understand that anger, frustration, intolerance, anger, they are only short frequencies away from empowerment. So know that what you truly seek is a very high frequency empowered presence. You're looking to speak your truth. You're looking to give yourself permission to be seen, heard, acknowledged, respected, and to own your power. So try that more. And as long as you aren't harming yourself or anyone else, let yourself get angry and impatient and speak about it. I know that sometimes it's the observation of the anger and impatience and intolerance, just observing it. Sometimes I will get triggered into something. My kids or my partner will say something. Well, not often my partner, but sometimes my kids. And I will say, I notice that I'm feeling really pissed off at you right now. And they're just looking at me and they're like, huh. And you would think that that would trigger them to get angry. But because I'm not saying it with anger, I'm just saying it in neutrality, they're observing it too. And they're like, oh, you're pissed off. Well, well, what did I say to cause that? Or did I say anything to cause it? Or shadow. And I'm like, well, maybe I do. What part of you is reflecting right now that makes me want to slap? So basically, we get into a little bit of a playful atmosphere about our anger in this household. And we start laughing. We start like playing around and like having pretend fights and everything like out loud. I'm like, well, what would you say if you could fight me? You want to fight me right now? My teenager goes in that direction. He's like, yeah, you want to fight? I'm like, yeah. So we play with our anger in obvious, safe ways. And it turns into laughter. And before you know it, we're like rolling on the floor. We've transmuted it so quickly. We're like, what was I mad about? I don't know what I was mad. Were you mad? No. All right, it's done. House full of alchemists. Do people not perceive that their universe is the one universe? Oh, wait a minute. I lost it because it scrolled up. Crap. That was good too. I was feeling it. Oh, here we go. Do people not perceive that their universe is the one universe, when in fact, we each have our own perception of the universe that is connected to everyone else's perception of the same universe? You just confused me. Because in me, it is all completely one. And I think we're trying to say the same thing here. At least that's what my guides are projecting forth. But yeah, if their perception is something different, it's only our perception of how we're different and our fear that we might be different and our fear that we might be separate. You see, it can be tricky if we start thinking about it all as different, truly. So I just don't. Oh, we're out of time. But my guides are saying there's still one question. Yeah, I still have to pick up my kid from school. I want to connect with you, but I haven't made it happen. Okay, you can do it. Let me know why you haven't made it happen. If I can help you in some way, if you have questions, just email me. Not from Patreon. Do it from my website, the Pamela Aaralyn at gmail.com. How do I get rid of lower back? I think you meant to say pain, but you typed Ozen. And guides say resin. That's interesting. Why do you say that? Why do we say that? Resin is like sticky goo This, like, there's sticky energy resin goo. What are you sticking to? What belief is sticking there? And your beliefs about safety and your beliefs about what makes you unsafe and unsupported. What belief are you sticking to? That's a message from our guides, since I can't say yours or mine. Oh, that's good. See, I can't even close this class, even though I'm going to be late to pick up my kid from school. He's totally cool. Just probably text him. Oh, that's good, Benita. She said, hopefully that fixes the problem. At least it happened at the end of the situation as opposed to more. My guides are like poking me in the side. Oh, as I started to read Benita's question. Oh, yeah, yes, sign language. Pamela, can you hear me? What's now? No, that's not now. I forgot what now is, but it feels like that. So we'll just pretend that that's sign language. When I was answering Benita's question, she said that she knew someone, but she didn't. And it's like kind of outside of time. Well, exactly. So basically she was saying, well, I know him, but I don't. Like, she had felt that she saw someone and she knew him, but she hadn't really met him in real life, but she had. Well, you haven't met in this third dimensional reality, but when you see someone and you like even know that you haven't met them, people do that with me all the time. And they're like, I know you, you're in my dreams, you're in my astral realm. I'm like, believe me, I'm unfortunately in everybody's astral realm, like fortunately for them, but unfortunately for me, because I don't remember it. I'm not conscious of it. They're like, Astrea saved my life last night. And I'm like, oh, you're welcome, I guess. You still cannot hear that. I think that's on your end because everyone else can. I can't speak about sun gazing because I got to go pick up my kid from school and I'm already like, 20 minutes over. So I don't want to be late. The only thing I'm going to say about sun gazing right now and pranic rituals is that no ritual is necessary, but they are helpful. Sun gazing is immensely helpful to revitalize your energy. Pranic rituals are immensely helpful and they're not negative. Can't go wrong. Yeah. Have I heard of emotional body code? Yeah. I have heard of it, and that is all. But I gotta go. Go. And the bathroom calls as well. So how do I stop this thing? Okay. I love you guys. I will see you. When will I see you next? For those of you who are coming to my Transcend Disease, Transform Your Life class, you can purchase it on aurareader.com. I'm cutting it off tomorrow morning though, because I got enough students and I don't need to just keep it. But if you just want to be a part of it, we had medical mediumship 1 and 2. And then what happened was we just didn't need 3 and 4. We covered so much that I was just done. And then the guides were like, no, you're not done. So we created a class called Transcend Disease, Transform Your Life. And it is for rare conditions, and not just rare, but all sorts of health conditions, mental and spiritual, but primarily focusing on the physical in tomorrow's class of why it happens, what are the soul contracts, and how can you transcend the alleged disease. I don't believe in disease. I just use that word because that's what humans believe. So that class will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. You can get there from aurareader.com. It's a Patreon class because it is, I have to prepare for these classes for like months in advance. They're like 90 minutes to 2 hours long. They are full. They are full of information, to the point where if you think this is a fast-paced class, it's like 4 times fast over there, that level of development. You're welcome to join. So I gotta go. I hope you guys have a really, really, really good time. And for those of you who want more classes of this type of variety, you can find it on patreon.com/Pamela Aaralyn. For those of you who want more in-depth classes with longer time frames, you can find that on aurareader.com. For channelings, you can get all those updates in my newsletter. You can join that from my website too, on the homepage of aurareader.com. They're normally about 50% of them are free, and then the other 50% you can find at the basic level of the Patreon membership for like $13. So that's how you find me, and that's how you know what I'm doing. I will be in Mission Bay. Yes, Mission Bay, San Diego, at Marina Village on February the 16th, 17th, and 18th, for those of you who want to see me in person. If not, I'll see you for class, and I'll see you for the Nikola Tesla channeling. So that's the A team. So it's Nikola Tesla, Masaru Emoto, Dolores Cannon, and Einstein. And recently Michael Newton joined as well. He used to be 4, but now it's 5, and the lovely Candace Crawl Goldman, beautiful quantum alchemist, originally taught by Dolores Cannon, amazing person, will be interviewing me for that channeling. I haven't decided if I'm going to be clear conduit or transfer that, but that will be free. It is posted everywhere, all over my YouTube sites, all over everything, so you can join that from my Facebook event page or from the Facebook group, or just go to my personal page or fan page. You can see all of it there. So if you don't have the link, you can also email me for the free link to that. That's going to be about an hour and a half worth of fun on Monday at 2 p.m. Okay, so I'll see you guys then. Namaste.